Most disturbing serial killer Albert Fish, also known as the Gray Man, the Moon Maniac, the Boogeyman, and the Brooklyn Vampire. Trigger warning. This video contains graphic details of sexual assault, murder, and cannibalism. Viewers' discretion is advised. When Fish was young, he dealt with a lot of family members who had mental illnesses. His brother was in an asylum, his uncle had been diagnosed with mania, and his mother had experienced hallucinations. His father was 75 at the time when he was born and died when Fish was 5 years old. His mother could no longer take care of him and his siblings, so she gave them up to an orphanage where he spent most of his childhood. The caretakers at the orphanage abused the children and would make the children hurt each other as well. Fish came to enjoy the pain and associated pain with pleasure. His mother took him back from the orphanage at age 9. He then experienced with sexual practices of drinking urine and eating human feces. Fish started prostituting himself and molesting young boys who he took to his home to rape and torture. In 1898, Fish married a woman, Anna Hoffman. They had 6 children. Fish continued to rape and torture children, but never his own. Albert Fish, first victim Thomas Kedden, was 19 years old, and they began a sexual relationship that quickly turned for the worst. Fish left Kedden in a farmhouse where he tortured him for 2 weeks and cut off half of Kedden's genitals and then poured peroxide on the wound, then left. His wife left him soon after for another man, which led to him harming himself by pressing needles into his groin and stuffing wool covered in lighter fluid into his anus and setting it on fire. Fish had an obsession with torture and cannibalism, which led him to murder. He began to look for vulnerable children who were disabled, homeless, orphans, or children who he didn't think would be missed. He then found a child through an advertisement. He went to their house, going to ask if the young man would help him with offering him a job. But then he seen his little sister, Grace Budd. He mentioned that he was going to his niece's birthday party and asked if she wanted to join. Her mother let her go and had no idea what was about to happen. Fish left with her daughter. Fish then sent her mother a letter where he described the gruesome details that he had done with her daughter. It read, "On Sunday, June the 3rd, 1928. I called on you at 406, sub U15 Saint brought you pot cheese, strawberries. We had lunch. Grace sat in my lap and kissed me. I made up my mind to eat her. On the pretense of taking her to a party, you said yes, she could go. I took her to an empty house in Westchester I had already picked out. When we got there, I told her to remain outside. She picked wild flowers. I went upstairs and stripped all my clothes off. I knew if I did not, I would get her blood on them. When all was ready, I went to the window and called her. Then I hid in a closet until she was in the room. When she saw me all naked, she began to cry and tried to run downstairs. I grabbed her and she said she would tell her mama. First, I stripped her naked. How she did kick, bite, and scratch. I choked her to death, then cut her in small pieces so I could take my meat to my rooms, cook, and eat it. How sweet and tender her little ass was roasted in the oven. It took me 9 days to eat her entire body. I did not fuck her, though. I could have had I wished. She died a virgin. When Fish was questioned about the murder, he was eager to tell everything. Fish was arrested and sentenced to death row. On January 16, 1936, he was executed via electrocution at Sing Sing Prison. The families had to deal with the pain forever. Make sure to subscribe for more content.